Welcome to the Michigan Golfer Show. Join us each week as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great game.
Hi, I'm Jack Berry, and I'm sitting here with David Graham, the Executive Director of the Golf Association of Michigan. And the GAM puts on the Michigan Amateur, one of the oldest golf championships in the United States. This is going to be the
103rd championship.
And it's going to be how many at Belvedere Golf Club in Charlottesville?
This will be the 40th staging of the championship at Belvedere. They've been great partners with us over the years, and we're excited to go back.
Well, it started, the first one at Belvedere was 1930, which was the year before I was born. So it's been back there a lot.
Now, if memory serves me correctly, I think it was James Standish and Chuck Kocius, and I believe Chuck Kocius prevailed, and that was his first of, I think, 6 Michigan AMs that he won over the years. And the course has changed a bit. Willie Watson was the original architect, and the folks at Belvedere brought Tom Doak and his Renaissance design team out over the last few years to incorporate some changes, open things up. You know, what's interesting is we look at golf courses, and many of us, myself included on occasion, could be deemed a tree hugger. But when you talk to any turf grass specialist, they tell you those trees are just oversized weeds.
That's right.
And as a consequence, when Tom Doak came out, he said, you know, you ought to take some of these trees out of here because you don't really need them. And that wasn't part of Willie's original design. But over the last 50, 60, 80 years, they grew up on you. So we're seeing a lot of that, and it's really a great reflection at Belvedere, where they are opening the course up. They're extending a number of the tees.
Yeah, I've got that.
To keep up with the technology and the strength of these younger players. The course is going to be a great challenge.
Well, the trees, the early pictures of Oakland Hills when Donald Ross did that, there was hardly a tree on that golf course, and they have a lot more now. They've done a pretty decent job of controlling them, but every once in a while you get a greens committee people who have favorite trees and they don't want to see go. Well, sometimes there are fortunately storms in the night that take care of some of those trees.
Well, and my thought is that President Eisenhower is lying happier in his place today because that tree at Augusta finally came down that Cliff Roberts would never allow.
That's right. Well, I talked to Ken Hartman, who is the GAM's.
He's our senior tournament director and oversees this championship.
And Ken says that there are a number of holes that have been lengthened, and as David said, these young guys kitted so far. And the last time the championship was at Belvedere in 2003, why they'll find anybody going back there now is going to find a few different things, including longer tees on 16, which to me is one of the great par 4 holes in the state. I love that hole with that tiny, that kind of hot dog shaped green, kind of shelved into the side of the hill, and a number of other, about a half dozen holes where some tees have been moved back. Now, back when I started covering the Michigan Amateur in the way back history, most of the guys who played didn't have many college kids playing in those days. It was mainly, guys who were a lot of pub linksers, a lot of country club members who played, but none of them with the talent and the strength or the clubs and the balls that they have now. And the game has changed a lot in the amateur. You have a lot of terrific college players in it now.
We absolutely do, and if you aren't currently a college player, you were recently a college player, and we saw that at Muskegon in our finals of a couple of former college athletes that duked it out right to the very end. I want to pick up on your thought about extending those tees. One of the holes, which is the 10th hole, which plays for the members as a 5-par, we'll play it as a 4. But even then, it's a challenge because players can go up the 11th fairway if we set the tees to the right side of the tee pad, out of bounds down the right. what we're doing is we're taking advantage of a tree. There's a maple tree right there near the tee. And we're going to be teeing the boys up on the left side of the tee pad, which is going to force them to stay in their 10th fairway. And in effect, what it's going to allow us to do is maintain pace of play, ensure the safety of the players. We don't have balls raining in on the 11th fairway. That's one of those times that a tree is serving us well, Jack.
That absolutely right. The par 5 that's reachable in 2 is. You know, it might be great for the long hitters, but it sure is a slow play.
It makes it a challenge. And one of the things, you know, we're going to have 156 golfers on Monday and Tuesday playing stroke play. And we've got to get it down to 64 who are going to qualify for match play. Well, what happens at the end of that 36 holes of golf is there's going to be some ties for the 64th spot. And there the playoff starts. And it's maybe the most fun that we have on the course in some respects, because last year we had 9 players trying to qualify for those last spots, and they won a number of holes at Muskegon. We'll probably see the same thing here, and it's great drama. And that's really what you see is in match play golf, the drama that you have with it. We saw it earlier this year over at the event in Scottsdale. Brilliant play.
Match play championship.
Absolutely, and that's exciting, and we have that right here in Michigan with these extraordinarily talented players. So we got the college kids from MSU, from U of M, from all the other colleges, Ferris State, so on and so forth. But we also have the defending champ, Andrew Chapman, from the Traverse City area. So Andrew is not terribly far from Belvedere, and I have a suspicion that he's going to be coming up and playing a few practice rounds before this championship goes forward. Tom Workmeister. Tom's a past champion, won the Michigan Open this past year. He's going to try to defend that at Prestwick Village, and I know for a fact that Tom is going to be focusing on trying to win yet another championship in Michigan Am.
And Tom is being inducted into the Michigan Golf Hall of Fame in June, I think it is this year. Actually, it'll be right before the amateur, shortly before the amateur.
Well, it's kind of an interesting series of events for him. I believe that's on Sunday, the 8th, is the induction, which is practice round day for Michigan Open at Prestwick Village. He then plays for 4 days there, takes a day off, then he comes up to Belvedere, and he plays the following week at the Michigan Am. So Tom still works for a living, but he plays a lot of golf, and he's got the most supportive wife in the world.
That's always good. They've had, of all the people who have played in the Michigan Amateur, and especially up at Belvedere, there are an awful lot of them that are into the Michigan Golf Hall of Fame now. People like Pete Green, Bud Stevens, Steve Madalena, Dan Pohl, two-time champion, right up there. One of the great playoffs was between Dan Pohl and Bud Stevens. Bud had been the longest, the career, the longest hitter in the state, and then here's this young Dan Pohl, college guy, who hits it forever and a day, and that was a good time.
Well, and you know what's kind of neat, as part of the Michigan Am Week, we have what's called the Sweet 16 dinner. And it's for those players who have qualified and their guests to make it to the 16 finalists in match play. We host a nice dinner at the casino, and Dan Pohl is going to speak that evening. And if you've never heard Dan Pohl, he's a great storyteller, and he'll share some great insight with those players as to what his experiences were like, not only in the Michigan Am, but at Augusta and during his professional career. He's really quite a guy.
Well, that's wonderful. And Charlevoix is just one of the fine spots any place in this country, to be able to go up there and play a championship, and all the lakes around there. And it's a historic club that, going back to guys like Walter Hagen and Tommy Armour, they played at the Belvedere Golf Club back in the 20s. I mean, it's just great historic club.
Well, and with that, a great historic club that continues to be successful, it needs to have a strong membership. And they have literally a national membership from all over the country, and folks who have generation after generation of ties to the Charlevoix area and to the Belvedere Club. And it's with their support they were able to put on a great championship like this. And their past golf professional, Steve Braun, has been instrumental, and he's the chairman of the championship. And his successor, Marty Joy, their golf professional, has been a tremendous resource to us. And so we're very thankful for the support that the local community has given to us, the local club has given to us. And I am certain that we're going to crown a great champion after a lot of dramatic golf shots are made.
I believe that. It's match play, you can't beat it. It is fun for the spectators. Sometimes it's the parents are following and it's nervous time, something like that, but it's just a wonderful show in a wonderful part of the state.
Well, you're exactly right. I have countless times either rode in or walked in with parents of the winners as well as the folks who didn't win. And I've always discussed with the parents that the stress that they are feeling is infinitely worse than what the player's feeling. And telling those players, be sure you thank your mom and your dad, because they made this possible and they went through a lot more challenges than you did today. And everybody receives it pretty well, but it is a wonderful family affair.
Yep. For the Staghorn Trophy, which is, I always tried to find out exactly how that thing began, where it started, and who put the thing together. And it seems to be one of the great mysteries of Michigan golf, where the Staghorn Trophy came from.
I can only share with you that I can't get insurance on it because it's basically one of those things that's uninsurable. It's so valuable. But the winner gets to keep it, whether they keep it at their home or at their host club. We're looking forward to awarding that this coming June.